My lords, ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back to the Rimworld in the Northeast Miskatonic. We've picked up exactly where we left off last time around. We have Amy delivering a new prisoner to our rudimentary prison cell there. We have Izzy pretty much on the verge of death due to the sepsis infection that she's developed. Izzy is a male. As we can see there, it's very unlikely that Izzy will survive this this bout of sepsis, so we will be bidding farewell to Izzy pretty soon. And with that in mind, what I think I'm going to do is get Bourne, who is up and about here, to strip Izzy of his garments, simply because we don't want them to become tainted when Izzy does expire, which I imagine will be in the next day or two. So that way, whoever we elect to become our next religious leader, they can use this apparel without having the negative tainted modifier dragging their mood down. So there we go, that's just preempting that. Perhaps, though, Izzy will surprise us all and make a full recovery, although I have my very strong doubts about that. So for today's episode, then, once as usual, I should say, no immediate plans as to what to do or what I'd like to achieve. As we know, Rimworld, you tend to just go with the flow, so we'll see what happens. Getting some base expansion and modification taken care of would be quite nice. And what do we have here? Saskia, which is the prisoner that we captured. She has gotten sick from an infection. The infection is in her torso. Let's just remind ourselves about Saskia here. Good artistic, good social, and good melee. Not bad intellectual and mining, construction or shooting. And if we remember, they are an enemy of our faction. So, you know, there's no diplomatic penalty that we need to be concerned about, you know, depending on what we do with her. We will try and keep her alive, because why not? If we can get her converted, then all the better. And in fact, let's do that first of all. We'll set our initial prisoner interaction option to convert, and then we'll take it from there. Obviously, Izzy was our medical specialist, but given his infection, the sepsis, it's very unlikely that he's going to survive this. So we need our next best candidate, which is either Amy or Gabe, to pop over there and take care of Saskia. I'm going to say, well, neither of them have a passion for medical, and given that Gabe is a couple of points higher, we will go for Gabe. So Gabe, if you can prioritise tending to Saskia for me, please, after you've vomited in the bathroom. Thank you very much. Okay, 29% 10 quality there, not the best, but certainly not the worst. What we also need to think about is, given that Izzy is very likely no longer going to be with us in the very near future, we need to elect or appoint another religious leader in Izzy's stead, and lo and behold, there we go, Izzy has now died. So that's one of our original 3 colonists now dead and no longer with us. It is a shame, but that's life on the Rimworld for you. So yes, who would we have to replace Izzy as our glorious leader? I'm going to hopefully get somebody with decent social skills. Obviously Q, they are the priest, if you will. Let's have a look. I'm thinking Amy here. Social skill of 5 isn't too bad. So let's go ahead and begin a role change. And we said Amy, didn't we? Yes, indeed we did. And not the lawkeeper. That belongs to Q. They need to become the Great Nameless, which is the overall leader of the religion. So let's begin this ceremony. Confirm that. Thank you very much. Everybody will come over now. Of course, the added bonus of having a Great Nameless or an assigned leader to the ideology is we can then perform the incantations here, which will boost everybody's corruption, so they shouldn't be converted away as easily as we'd seen over the past few episodes. Okay, there we go. Amy has now successfully taken on the role, and she is automatically going to equip the relevant vestments, as we can see. Doesn't look like they're going for the... Is somebody else wearing the mask? Yes, Quinn, you're not wearing that. That is not intended for you. Amy, can you please equip the cultist hood for me? You're the one who needs it. There we go. You didn't equip it. Did you just pick it up? Let's see here. Yes, you did. let's have you drop that. And force where? That's what we want. There we go. That's more like it. So yes, now that we have that, we can begin. Oh, we could do a prisoner sacrifice if we wanted to get rid of Saskia. That would be quite interesting. But the first thing I'd like to do is an incantation. Now this is going to have an expected quality of 65%, and based on that, these are the weighted outcomes of the ceremony. Squamous, I'm not sure the pronunciation there, 7.5%, accursed 15, blasphemous 58, and loathsome would be 19. Obviously loathsome is the one we want. It would give everybody a +2 mood for 6 days. Blasphemous is not too bad either. It's a +1 positive mood for 6 days. In terms of how we could boost this in the future, well, obviously the aim is social impact. We want to get that increased over time. The room impressiveness is quite low, only 31.1 out of a possible 120, so working on this chapel will boost that quite nicely, and we could get a maximum of 20% out of that, so that's definitely worth doing. Participants, obviously that's something we can't really affect immediately, that's a long-term improvement, but we're already getting 30 out of a possible 40%, so we're getting 3/4 of the possible boost there. So yes, the main one for me is getting this room impressiveness boosted up, which we'll focus on in the near future. But for now, let's give this a go and see how it turns out. Hopefully, it'll at least give us at least a +1 mood bonus. So that was an accursed one, which is not great. Everyone is now gaining a -1 mood modifier for the next 6 days. So we tried, but yes, it didn't really go well. Has that boosted our corruption? It has indeed. As we can see now, everybody's corruption was pretty much 0, and it's added about 10% onto that, so that's what we're going to do from now on to try and keep that corruption under control. Of course, the other thing we can do is spam down a lot of these ominous obelisks, and if we strategically place them, so this area of effect pretty much encompasses the entire base where the pawns spend most of their time, then the corruption decay is going to be kept in check. So again, that is a long-term project. Although saying long-term, we do have 870 units of sandstone available, so there's no reason why we couldn't start putting some down straight away. Let's just see if we can find them. I'm going to assume they're in miscellaneous. I could be wrong. I am not. There they are. So each ominous obelisk will take 100 sandstone blocks. We have 870, so your very basic kindergarten maths will tell you we can build 8 of those. As we can see, it does keep the existing overlay displayed, although not for the ones you're planning to build, so you're going to have to try and guesstimate this a little. And I think we'll put one there as well. And then we'll have a few just around here, and maybe one there, just because I think there might be a dead zone here, so to speak. There we go. And that's going to help offset the corruption decay quite nicely as people are in and around our main base, which is, as I said just a moment ago, where they're going to spend most of their time anyway. As we can see, Izzy has been butchered up and turned into meals. There's the remains of Izzy here, 11 units of human meat in the freezer, and we also have some simple meals made from cannibal meat. So, yes, thank you for that, Izzy. Gone but not forgotten, I'm sure. Alright, well, Saskia has also developed sepsis, which is fantastic. Let's have a look here. So, the infection... I think we could catch that. It's only a 9 percentage point difference, and a good round of treatment would help there. However, the sepsis is the one that concerns me. Given that, all that being said, however, yes, the melee skill would be nice, as would the social. They would be a great Nameless leader. However, I'm not too concerned. So I think what we're going to do instead is offer Saskia up as a sacrifice. So let's go ahead and do that. First of all, we can upgrade our altar. I'd forgotten about that. Let's do that now. Boom. There we go. Let's offer a sacrifice. There's no prisoner to sacrifice selected. Okay, oh, I remember, this is how we do it. So we click this tab here where it says sacrifice. We want to offer this to, well, we're currently worshipping Shib-Niggurath, so it would make sense to offer the sacrifice to Shib-Niggurath. Although it's not an offering we want, it is a human sacrifice, so we'll jump to this tab here. Again, deity, Shib-Niggurath. Who do we want to be our executioner? I'm going to say Q. And we're going to sacrifice Saskia, spell, favor, fertility ritual, or mother of goats. I've got no idea what mother of goats is, but oh, here we go. Summons a herd of black goats to provide your hunters with ample prey to hunt. Well, that's quite interesting, isn't it? We do have 91 units of meat, and obviously the 11 units of human meat in the deep freezer there. What do we have in terms of wildlife on the map? Well, we're good. We've got lots of muffalo. I don't think we really need that. In fact, 2 of those muffalo are dead, as is this little, is that an elk or an ibex? So we'll allow them to be hauled back, and we'll use them. So instead, we'll just go for a simple boosting of our favour. And that should increase this standing quite substantially. So let's go ahead and do that. That's all set up. Now if we click sacrifice, there we go. Let's just wake everybody up so everybody gets involved in this. Okay, well, only Amy's getting involved in this, but that's fine. There we go, a successful sacrifice. Q felt a supernatural presence connect with them from beyond space and time. The ritual was a complete success. And there we go, Saskia has been sacrificed by cutting. Okay, so let's see what that has actually done for our standing with Shib-Niggurath. Yes, that's now changed to watched. I do believe previously it was only glanced. I'm not sure what the progress was on that. I think it was about 8 out of 10 or something. I'm not sure. But anyway, we've increased to tier 2, so that is fantastic and really good to see. Apparently we've not got any sermon set. I thought we had done, but perhaps it got swapped around when people left the ideology. I'm not quite sure. Either way, let's get this sorted out. And what we're going to do, I think we'll just have morning sermons every single day. It only takes about an hour of the day, and it's a good way to keep everybody on their toes and, you know, as engrossed in the cult as they possibly can be. The preacher, yes, we'll stick with Q. Q does have the highest social skill, so yes, we'll do that. Unnamed temple. So we can actually name the temple. I did not know that. We'll come back to that at another time, I think. Yes, as we said, we have some muffalo down here. They are frozen, missing a few body parts, but nothing too major, so there's no reason why we wouldn't treat ourselves to those. Same as this ibex ram, frozen. Been dead for 10 days, so I've not really been paying any attention at all. And I'm guessing it was this bear here that has killed these 3, and that has been nibbling on their corpses. But what we're going to do now is actually get them to be hauled urgently before the bear feasts on the corpses much more. Obviously, the more meat we can get off them, the more levers we can get off them, the better it is for us. So yes, let's get somebody down here. Cargo pods dropping down. What do we have? We have several units of chocolate syrup. Not overly concerned by that, although we could sell it if we wanted to. I don't think we'd actually use it for anything, however. So we have a sermon starting, although unfortunately it looks like only Q is the only one attending. Nobody else is getting involved, and the Royal Tribute Collector has arrived, but that's of no concern to us. Although we could have sold them the prisoner before we sacrifice them, but I think the sacrifice was the better option, especially because we didn't know that the Royal Tribute Collector would be passing by. Alright, it looks like the rest of the muffalo have actually left the map, leaving the grizzly bear to him or herself. It's a female grizzly. So at some point I've got to imagine they're going to take an interest in us. Luckily we have these traps here, which should be enough to see off the grizzly bear if she does decide to head our way. Okay, so we're getting plenty of meat here now, as we can see. So yes, hauling those muffalo and the ibex back was definitely a good idea. I'm glad I spotted those. As we saw, they had been dead for quite a while, and I'd overlooked them entirely. So it's the next morning. This time the entire colony has gathered for the sermon, which is good to see. That'll keep everybody's cult mindedness as high as possible. As we can see, a few of them are actually quite low here, which is certainly not something we want to have to deal with, because they'll start getting aggressive to members of the cult, and that's something we certainly want to avoid. I think what we're going to work on next is a dedicated kitchen. Obviously at the moment we have this hodgepodge of a room here. That's not ideal. So I think we'll have our kitchen just here next to our butchery room, with access in here and out here. So let's just go ahead and get this planned up now. Okay, we have an interesting event here. A conceptual artist named Winnie has arrived and wants to join the colony. She is willing to contribute but will not leave voluntarily, claiming to have nowhere else to go. You can choose to turn her down and send her away. However, your colonists will be disturbed at sending someone away in need. Now, the issue with this is, because we're still tackling the low corruption issue, Winnie could very easily rip through our ideology like a virus, and that is certainly something we don't want to have to deal with again. So if we were going to accept Winnie into the ranks, and the best thing we could do initially is imprison her until we are able to convert her to our religion, and that will do away with any risk of her converting our colonists away. Unfortunately, we're not able to actually see what Winnie brings to the table. Obviously, we know they're a conceptual artist, so logic would dictate that they're going to have a high artistic skill. I think we'll have a look. After all, we can always just imprison them and sacrifice them if we so desire. So let's have a look here. Here is Winnie now. What do we have? So no social skill, no medical skill. Not bad at crafting. A little bit of passion in shooting. Animals is good, and artistic, as we expected, is also good. They're already a member of the sect of Eldritch, which is really good, because that means they're not then going to convert our colonists away from the sect of Eldritch. Let's just have a look at her biography for her traits. Fast learner, that's always a nice one. Sickly, not so good. And slob, that's neither here nor there, I would suggest. I think we'll keep Winnie on hand, especially because they're already a member of the sect of Eldritch anyway. I mean, these three incapabilities are a little bit annoying. The hauling one especially. Caring, not so much. We do have people who can do the medical work for us, and the social one, again, not really too concerned by that. The animals, like I said, that is nice when, if we ever do try our hand at farming. Oh, we have a body here. We'll allow them to be hauled back, and we'll haul them urgently. Thank you for spotting that. Anything else I've missed? I feel like I'm missing quite a lot here. We'll keep Winnie around. After all, having an extra pair of hands around to help with things like construction and the likes is never a bad thing. So, yeah, we'll see what we have here, and we'll see what Winnie brings to the table in the long run. There's the research of gunpowder now completed, so let's have a look what we want to focus on next. I'm thinking we go for something quite simple like fuses, simply because if we have the god-awful ZIT event, then the fuses are going to protect our electrical installation systems. So yes, let's go for fuses. Click the wrong thing there we go. It's only a short research project, 500 points, it shouldn't take us too long to achieve that. Okay, so Winnie, do you need a bed? Yes. Oh no, you can have the double bed. I'll treat you to the double bed. Set owner Winnie the artist. There we go. At some point we are going to have to get proper barracks for everybody, or proper beds for everybody I should say. Proper bedrooms. That's the word I'm looking for. We get there in the end. Perseverance is key. Yes, rather than having people share beds or bedrooms, done it again. We want to get them all into their separate bedrooms so there's no disturbed sleep modifiers. And I think that's... Have we got enough bone? Maybe. Yeah, we'll set it up. Well, we could just deconstruct this, I think, at this point. Yeah, let's flag all this for deconstruction. There we go. That'll recoup some materials. No, don't really care about that. We got the reward anyway, and if they're not going to lie, because it's only a 12-point deduction that we've suffered in our relations with the Empire, so that's fine. We also want to remove the floor from there as well. You know, every bit of material we can get back is worth doing, so let's have a look. Where is it? Remove floor. Perhaps it's actually in the floors tab. Yes, there it is. Who'd have thunked it? There we go. Yes, and we'll start building everybody their own separate bedrooms as well at this point, I think. Alright, so we've got the makings of 2 bedrooms right here. We need 1 more by my calculation, but that's fine. At least we could perhaps get Amy and Quinn into their own bedrooms. We do need to sort out the heating down here, of course, because at the moment there's no radiators and heating pipes down here, so that's something we need to take care of. For that, we're going to need more steel, so let's go ahead and get this steel vein queued up for... Queued up? Yes, queued up's the word. Queued up for mining, so we have a good steel reserve for the pipes and for the radiators. At some point we're probably going to need a second boiler, although I think the one we have at the moment is sufficient to handle it. We're only halfway through the power mode there, so we've got more steps that we could increase it by. At the moment, okay, connected demand is 1100 and capacity is only 1000, so we do need to increase the power there. There we go. As you can see, the kitchen has now been completed as well, and we have heating in there, so there's no longer there won't be a work speed penalty for the kitchen. We have an animal transport pod crash, and this is a goat doe has crashed down. Where are they? There we go. I'm not going to make any attempt to save them. The bear is still knocking around, as we can see. And there was something down here. Oh, it's just a little bunny rabbit. That's fine. Don't need to concern ourselves with that. There we go. That's the fuse research completed as well. That's great. Let's see what we want to go for next. I'm thinking perhaps geothermal power. You know, we do have a steam geyser right there. We also have one right there. So that's 2 potential sources of power to augment the wind turbines that we have. Obviously, these are a lot more reliable in terms of they have more reliable output. So yes, I believe we'll go for the geothermal power next. We have a quest available here, the Nameless Amulet of the Sect of Eldritch. This will send us on a series of quests to which we can then eventually obtain this Nameless Amulet here. So let's go ahead and accept that quest, and we'll deal with the subsequent quests as and when they arrive. Okay, so that's the heating and the lighting ready for these 2 new bedrooms that we've got ready. So let's go ahead and move some furniture over. So we want to reinstall Quinn's bed over here. We'll also take Amy's bed as well, and that can be reinstalled over here. They're going to need their own dresser and end table, of course. What do you want to make them out of? Well, looking at what we have available, I think the best choice is going to be steel for the time being. So let's get ourselves a steel end table there, and a steel dresser there and there. So there we go, that's Quinn and Amy's bedrooms set up with the end table and the dressers. Amy also has a nice tree growing in her bedroom, which we're going to obviously chop down at some point at our earliest convenience. Still need to work on this temple, of course. I keep meaning to do that, and I think the first thing we're going to do is just smooth off these walls here around the edge, and that'll have a nice effect on the beauty rating of that room, even though it's something that does take quite a while to achieve. So let's go ahead and queue that up. We're going to have a smooth surface like this all the way through on the visible interior walls. There we go. We could smooth the floor, or we could make we could lay down a floor. We'll make a decision on that in the future. For now, obviously, just doing the smoothing walls is going to make a nice difference to the room beautiness. The chief of the Confederacy of Brania has passed away. That's of no concern to us. Another thing we could want to do, or we probably do want to do in here, is some lighting and possibly some heating as well. In the meantime, everybody's coming over for a sermon, aside from Bourne, who's busy researching, which is, you know, that's fine. And once the sermon's done, as you can see, Quinn and Q are going to do a bit of a mother and daughter attempt to smooth things out here. Okay, what do we have here? So a shuttle from the Broken Empire is taking damage and is seeking a place to land. He wants to land at Innsmouth. A group of pirates from the terrorists will attack the crashed shuttle in an attempt to kill the occupants. The shuttle contains Lauer, and 2 cataphracts. The commander must be rescued, but the cataphracts may be sacrificed. After 8 hours, a rescue shuttle will come and pick up the survivors. You'll need to get them all on board within 12 hours. So if we accept this, we could go for 3 honour and the shuttle loot, 6 Glitterworld medicine and shuttle loot, or 12 goodwill and, you guessed it, shuttle loot. Now, I'm not sure if I think that would be enough to give us the title of yeoman, I believe, perhaps. However, I think the Glitterworld medicine is a little bit more appealing, if I'm perfectly honest. We have 4 units of regular medicine, as we can see, but nothing else, so I'm going to accept this. Just because we've not had a raid for a good while, despite the fact I boosted the difficulty in the last episode, if you recall. So having this is going to force a raid on us, and that's going to be interesting to deal with. So let's go for this, and let's go for the 6 units of Glitterworld medicine as our reward. Here comes the shuttle. Where's it crashing? All the way over there, because why wouldn't it? Here's the 2 cataphracts, and here is the commander. Obviously, it's the commander that we need to save. The good thing is we can deconstruct this shuttle at some point, and that'll yield quite a lot of steel and components, so that's always a nice added bonus. So let's just see, and we'll wait for the raiding party to arrive. What do we have here? Oh, a load of caribou, and that's fine. Not sure why they are black. No idea what's going off there, but there we go. Yes, so what do we want to do? Essentially now we need to get anybody who is armed and a decent combatant to head out here and help in the fight. So at the minute we have Gabe. He is armed and not bad shooting skill. Q, nice shooting skill and is also armed. Born, you can use your psychic abilities, which, yes, will get you down there as well. Amy... you got an axe, so you could come in use. Quinn, yes, high shooting skill and a makeshift rifle. Winnie, you have a knife. Do we have any other ranged weaponry? No, we do not. So Winnie, I think, well, do you know what? Let's just draft everybody, and we'll just see what happens. Not sure how long it is until the raid arrives. And the problem is if they come from here, they're going to be straight upon these crashed survivors far before we can get over there. So I think it's probably a decent idea to get everybody down here immediately. And we can always get them into some sort of defensive formation, of course. Perhaps something like that. And we can, of course, use the combat command ability as well when we're in position. And that's going to boost everybody's combat skill for the fight, which should come in great use. Okay, how long does this last for? Oh, for 1 whole day. I imagine the raid is going to be far before a day, so in fact here they come now. They're going to attack. Let's jump to their location. How many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't believe there's any more attacking from any other direction. Let's just... oh, no, you can't see them on there. They're not wildlife. Good try them. Yes, I think it's just the 4. Yes, 4 humans. 2 of them are armed with range weaponry. We have somebody here who is holding a volcanic pistol. In fact, only 1 ranged weapon, so this should be a relatively straightforward fight. In fact, I do believe the cataphracts may be able to handle this themselves, but let's see what happens here. Okay, overkill there, but that's fine. It's worked. Okay, well, there we go. That went as well as can be expected, although Q is bleeding out. Can you preach health to yourself? Unfortunately, you cannot, so that's a shame. So let's now undraft all of our colonists, and we want whoever is our highest medical practitioner to turn their attention to Q, and that looks like it is Gabe. So Gabe, 10 to Q without medicine. Hopefully this is going to be okay. We've got a few corpses as loot, of course, which we shall avail ourselves of, as well as these 3 simple meals. It's a shame to let them go to waste. We'll also deconstruct the shuttle. It's a shame the cataphract didn't drop any armor, but I guess it I think it does dissolve or something like that on death. So that explains that one. Here's the rescue shuttle now. Jump to its location. It's right on top. Are you going to get on board as well? I don't know. Maybe you are, maybe you're not. Who knows? Fortunately, we can't. I don't think we can send it away with the looks of it. Oh, there we go. Yep, they're away. The pods of Glitterworld medicine have arrived. Everybody is happy, and that was a pretty successful mission, especially because the cataphracts just went completely OTT with their rocket launchers and just wiped out anybody within a 4-mile radius. So yeah, so there we go. On that note, I think we'll end it here for today. It was nice to end with a little bit of action, of course. We haven't had any for quite a while, or so it seems. And on that front, actually, if we go into the options and the storyteller settings, let's go hell for leather and go losing is fun, because it's been far too quiet and far too straightforward so far. So I hope you enjoyed the episode. Again, maybe a bit more subdued than usual, a bit of base expansion and the likes. Obviously, we saw the death of Izzy, which was a shame, but it was to be expected. But we did quickly increase our colony numbers with the arrival of Winnie, so that's all good on that front. The base needs a lot of work. Yes, I'm aware of that. It's a bit of a mess at the moment, and I might even do a little bit of that off camera. So yes, we'll leave it there today. Hope you enjoyed it. All that remains for me to say is, as always, ladies and gentlemen, take very good care of yourselves. It's ta-ta for now.